I found some silicone 22 gauge wire in black. I think I only have black. So I'm a little bit less scared of using that than 30 gauge silicone wire. 30 gauge, I mean, again, prototype, and this will be used for low current only, but 30 gauge is a bit scary. It's tiny. So I got to solder up the input connector here. I think my iron's a bit cold for this. These things, the terminal blocks have a lot of heat to them, a lot of heat capacity, I should say. Okay, so now the negative terminal, this guy here, it has to go directly to the negative terminal of this guy. So I'm going to snip this. And now I need to link the positive terminal here. That positive terminal actually has to go here, 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 and here. And actually this negative terminal needs to go kind of everywhere too. So I did this backwards, but that's okay. Alright, so for the positive terminal, I'm just going to solder kind of around it. Like this. 1, 2, 3. Solder a few blobs. Oh, ow. The flux is burning me. Just solder a few blobs there. And then I can link those all together and actually use that. So, let's do the positive first. You see that? How it kind of makes a big blob all together? It's Vero board is really nice for that because it solders also to, the underneath the substrate. Alright, we need one more wire, a very short guy. Four positives soldered. Perfect. My battery is starting to run out, but that's okay. We'll keep going until she dies. That's good. Now we need to kind of bring a wire through on the other side and supply the positives and the negatives for all the top side wires. Since this negative comes directly across here, and I've got all my positives bunched up here, I may bunch up all my negatives over here. I'm not sure. Not sure how I'm going to do that. Oh, you know what's missing? There's a positive missing between these two. Whoops. But, we could just link these through solder connections. Kind of like that. Like it's getting scarily close though. That's a little scary. Maybe not. So it's basically going to be separated by just a tiny little solder bridge. Whatever. I live life dangerously. Are those touching? Nope, they're not, but they will. There we go. So that's all the positives are connected now. So now I just need to run some wire through and hook up all the Yeah, I need negative and positive rails for the boost converters now. So I guess I'll set that up and I'll bring you back when it's time to solder it all together. So for these guys here, I've decided I'll put a pin header through the positive pin, and I'll bring the positive through the actual the board, and then I'll just surface solder the negative. I actually wonder if these two pins can align. These two pins align, so that's good. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut off these. You can actually cut with pliers. You don't actually need you can just go backwards and forwards and pull these off like that. So I have three modules, and so I need 2 on each, so I need 6 of these. I have a little breadboard here because that's the easiest way to solder them semi-straight. There we go. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Just try to shove these in here. Shove that in there. And it looks like it'll be pin 16. Pop that into 16. And if you look, there's the in positive. That one's not marked properly. Out negative, negative. I think it goes positive, negative all the way through. I'm pretty sure. I'm not very sure, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, so that means in is on the chip side and positive is like component side, the pot's on the negative side. The only thing is, how am I going to keep this propped up? I guess I'll have to use some sticky tack. If I can find my sticky tack. Okay, here goes. I'm going to solder this. I love these pin headers, and I think they should be mechanically strong enough to support the weight of it, but I guess I won't be able to fiddle too much on the pot there, which is okay. This is actually not meant to be fiddled with more than once, so let that cool for a second, and then yeah, pops out just like that. Alright, same process. Pin in 10, pin in 6, 16, 10 and 6. What am I talking about? Pin in 16, and then again, same thing. This way, like this and like this. This does make things easier. So yeah, I figure it's just better to have. I'll have a flying lead for the negative up top, because at least if it touches something, it doesn't really matter. The positives will be mostly protected. Two, and same thing here. Pin on 10, pin on 16. Like that. And so inductor side. These little modules are great. Kind of the best thing for 60 cents, really. They are tiny. I bought these back in when I was building a quadcopter. I figured they'd be useful for onboard stuff, but turns out I had a deeper interest in electronics, so yeah. Okay, so there goes that. Now I'm going to place these on here. I have to decide where they go. So again, the in is on this side. So they're probably going to be sort of centered like that. I don't really want to put this sticky tack because it might just go away for good. It's kind of the only way to prop it up though. Maybe I'll just shove it under a corner like that. Okay. Is that good? Yeah, it's going to be pretty close. Okay, solder this guy up. One and two. Board's a bit topply on that side. That's okay. Okay, take this out. I'll really have to be careful when I adjust that pot. Is that the correct place for it? No, I think it needs to go one over. One over like that. Stuff this inside. Doesn't have to be perfect, this is just a prototype. One and two. That's a bit crooked. Wow, the other one's very crooked. I know it's supposed to be a prototype, but it's kind of bothering me. Just shove it down like that. Oh. And do we have our first pad lift? We have our first pad lift. Fantastic. See what that gets you. Okay. So I'm going to try to heat this up this time. Then push it. Oh, and I lifted the other pad. Fantastic. This is great. Actually, this guy has a little bit of a gangster lean to it. Yeah. Well, I told you guys it might happen. But it did. It did anyways. I knew it was going to happen, and I did it anyways. Alright, so the positive is here. I want to link this guy here. I don't know if I should do a solder trace all the way down. Maybe I will. This will probably all be glued down too, considering the mechanical hold is not fantastic. Put this there. There we go. It's got something to hold on to. I guess I should be doing the rest of the stuff too. I got one more to solder. Oh well. Don't know if you've noticed, I can be a little impatient. Alright, so the center pin of our switch over here. Needs to get all the way to there. This pad is lifted too, if I remember. So on there. Big blob of solder. There we go. This solder is very cheap, but I love this stuff. I think, oh, that's not good. I've got a bridge where I'm not supposed to have a bridge. I think Julian Eilert actually tried this stuff out and he didn't like it. I really like it. Oh, I need to unbridge these guys. Typically it's hard for me to form the bridges, so I figured this should be easy to remove. No, came off. Where's the pin? There's the pin. Get out. Get out. I could try to wick some solder off, but I'm just trying to... Almost empty. There we go. Solder unbridged. And now since this wire was under tension, it popped off from that top pin there. There we go. Okay, so the positives of those two are put in. I'm going to shove this guy through. Okay. Let's see if I can do some fancy soldering here. So I'm going to hold this in. Ouch, something was hot on there. Probably the stuff I just soldered. So just lift the board to it. Oh, come on. There we go. Should be soldering straight enough now. And framing. There we go. Now again, I want to try to link this middle pin here. This is an ugly board. Don't judge this on its looks. She may be ugly, but she's supposed to have it where it counts. Okay. So that is one ugly prototyping board. That's okay. Now we need to... Oh, what the heck happened there? Next thing we need to do is run the negative to it. Oh boy. I hear the board complaining. Did I lift the pad? I don't think so. That pad is lifted. You have to be pretty clean with your soldering to keep these pads from lifting, but honestly, it's not necessary. You just have to know how to fix it, that's all. And honestly, the pads don't matter. As long as the pin to pin is wired correctly, you're good to go. This guy, I just removed the solder bridge, which I still need to put back. There we go. Drop that off. Prototype, guys, prototype. When I design a PCB for this, it'll be different. It'll be better quality, let's just say. Put it like that. I'm not trying to talk myself up or anything, but I think the PCB will be nice, and this will be a useful product. And by product, I mean prototype. I don't think I want to market this. It's just not in my bones to be that productive. Alright, so I'm going to go from here to here. This is the positive for our 12 volt. This is the switched positive, so it's actually coming from the switch middle pin. And going directly to the output. So as long as that switch is switched to the on position, the 12 volts is going to make it out that terminal at the end there. Okay, there and there. So we can actually test our first component here. We can test our 12 volt output very shortly. Not quite enough solder onto there. I have to tin this guy. Am I still in shot? Sorta, right at the outset there. Okay, and jam this guy in. Ouch, my fingers. Maybe lifting the pad on this one too. There we go. So it's not pretty, but it is coming together. So the next thing to do would be link a wire through here, 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 and to the negative there. So, you know, probably take it, could take it from here, really. Take it from here through, and then just go negative, 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 and then run the two wires on each side to here. The positive, positive, positive from these three, and pretty much that will be it. So we're getting there.